place.
Conflict is the new word for nuisance behavior. No one likes saying nuisance anymore because it puts all the blame on the bear. So conflict is our new term that we use in the bear world. Human bear conflict, right? Wildlife conflict is a big thing people like to say, and so conflict takes the blame off the bear a little bit, and it's like, okay, conflict implies that there's something else in this environment that the bear is running into that's conflicting with its pursuit of its natural behavior, right? If we removed all the people and all the human development infrastructure, bears would have very little human-bear conflict. The majority of human-bear conflict would just be hikers and backpackers, and maybe from a bear's perspective, hunting is human-bear conflict from a bear's perspective, but that would be the extent of it, right? There wouldn't be cars to break in, there wouldn't be campgrounds to raid, there wouldn't be refrigerators on people's back porches to get into. So conflict is, this bear has its habitat, it moves through it, and it runs into something that humans most of the time have created that ultimately reduces the bear's lifespan or creates a management issue where now a lot of human resources are going into managing that bear to keep it semi-wild and alive, right? And we see that in national parks because we've created environments that are just a conflict, hub. And we invite people to come look at bears, and then we decide, well, we've invited all these people to come look at bears. We better do something to make sure that the bear kind of stays wild, or else we're just going to put it down, or it's going to get killed.
And that's what
happens.
That's what happens.
Yeah. I mean, Grand Teton is a great example of it. They tried to keep Bear 399, alive and wild-ish for a very long time, but she lived by the road and she died by the road. She made it a very long time, really just because of the amount of protection that was put into place for her to continue existing, and the amount of effort and energy that went into preserving her for the sake of people's viewing pleasure was really not in her best interests. It was, well, we value her, we want to keep her alive and wild, but we also don't want her to leave this roadside habitat or this area where everyone comes to view her. She was kept alive and kept somewhat wild. I mean, she wasn't the most wild bear ever, but it was really for the pleasure of photographers and people coming to view a grizzly bear, right? She was a poster child for grizzly bear conservation, and so an inordinate amount of resources went into protecting her, just like it goes into a lot of other animals in our national parks, for more of what the symbol of that animal is. But is it really to that animal's benefit? She made it a long time before she got hit, but a lot of her offspring have been killed by cars and by people and trapped for conflict. So you say, yeah, it worked for her, but all of her offspring were raised on the road and they all went their separate ways. Her habitat was hers. They all had to go find other habitat. Well, there was no brigade of volunteers and wildlife warriors, whatever they call themselves out there, to protect her offspring. And if her offspring have had very poor success rates as adult bears. So, that is conflict. Even though that bear's not getting human food or getting trash, it's still conflict.